But
All right, what do we
anyway.
got? What do we got? Who are we casting?
All right, so we're going to be doing three series today. First up is going to be a TVZ. This is
Nice.
a tier 3 game. So TVZ, you're going to obviously be more comfortable than that with that than I am. So going to rely on you a bit for that, but if you're ready to
What's the
get
other
going,
one?
sorry, the other one.
TVZ.
Uh,
We got TVZ.
yes, and then PVZ coming up after that,
Cool.
and
And
finally a PVT to end the night.
PVT. Awesome. Nice. Good matchups.
Yeah, one of
Pretty much
each
all
then.
of them except for the mirrors.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get started here into the first game. First map for this week, of course, is Polaris Rhapsody, a two-player map.
One sec. I'm just gonna ask real quick. Audio is okay. Yeah, that was an interesting choice, Polaris, to have it as the first map. Like the first week was very standard with Circuit Breaker, so I feel everyone was like very, very comfortable. You know,
Yeah.
first week was kind of like no problem. Second week, I figure some people are more comfortable with this map than other people, so there might have been a little bit more prep, you know, one way or another, either to specialize the build or just to get comfortable with it.
Yeah, for sure. And the way we have it set up for the preseason being 3 weeks, we wanted one 4-player map, one 2-player, one 3-player map. You know, just to mix it up, right? And it was either going to be this or Autobahn as our 2-player maps, right? So we're like, okay, this one's maybe a little nicer than Autobahn, so we'll throw this one in there to mix it up.
So you said how many 4-player?
Total in the pool?
Yeah.
We have 3 4-player maps total in the pool.
Okay.
All
And
right.
then 2 3-player and 1 2-player.
And 2 2-player.
Oh,
All
2
right.
2-player. Cool.
So to introduce our players here, this is a tier 3 game, by the way. We have spawning in the top left a red Zerg George.
All right, and spawning on the bottom right side of the map is our purple Terran Frivolus.
All right. So how do you feel about TVZ on this map?
Huh. You know, I don't really know. That double gas is kind of scary if they're able to secure it. I think you're pretty much restricted to bio play here because there's no easily accessible third gas. And Zerg, I mean, the third base is there on the left and right side. There is a kind of narrow choke there that is defendable with lurks. So I don't know if it changes all that much. I know ND recommends +1 armor. I don't know if I don't think it's that necessary, but you definitely want to get your lurkers there in time if you're going to take that base. And the top right base is interesting because the game that I played, it was a 2-hat muta that kind of gave him a lot of space to be able to take that base. So I think there's certain strategies where, you know, that 2 gas is possible if you can secure it to do some really gas heavy play. But otherwise, you can do a standard ZVT by taking the bases on the sides.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So,
We'll have to see how the players want to play this. We've definitely seen, you know, different styles on this map. Like I've seen players take that base you're talking about on the side over here with just the 1 gas, or the base in the corner with the 2 gases, and trying to utilize that extra gas early for something more aggressive, like maybe going for ultras, quicker ultras, or whatever. But
sweet.
right now it looks
I
like
hate
Terran.
ultras.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Looks like Terran's just going to be going here for a fast expansion. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good.
Uh,
It's pretty safe. Like, you got the ramp there. Like, 9 pool's not particularly anything special on this map, so you can play standard like this without any problem.
Yeah, the Terran throwing up the bunker here. Just
Yeah.
wanting to play extra safe here, I suppose.
Yeah, he's playing extra safe. He's already got the scout in the base, and he's kind of cognizant of the link count, but he's still choosing to do the bunker. It's not a bad choice. It always comes in handy later on anyway.
Yeah, so you can see there's only 2 lings. May not need it this early, but like you said, not necessarily a bad choice in case maybe he was making a bunch of lings from the natural. And he's actually going to be morphing his lair at the natural, and the Terran did not scout this. So the Terran's going to be left a little bit in the dark of when that lair timing is, or what the Zerg is necessarily up to here.
Yeah, and he's got the eBay going, so it's going to be a +1, probably 5 racks. Sometimes you can go 4 racks for a slightly faster tech. I've seen Scan do 4 racks, and it's kind of like a really fast pressure. He gets a late starport, and it's kind of a tank bust.
Okay. Yeah.
It can work.
Yeah, actually, Nablime, or Not Lemon, and I were talking about this a bit last week. We saw one of our Terrans go for 4 racks, and he was telling me that it just like gets your tech out a little bit faster. You can like pressure with some tanks or something, gives you a little more options. You're not relying as heavily on the Marines and medics to do something, but it still can be a pressure build. You kind of want to deny the Zerg's third base or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, this is tier 3, right? And
yes.
It looks like they got their builds down pretty good from what I'm seeing. So that's awesome to see.
We are going to see some Spire play here coming out of George. Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's pretty standard. Mutas can sometimes be a little tricky to control. We'll have to see how his control is. But I do like it on this map.
You like what? Sorry.
Mutas on this map, just because there's like a lot of area in the main base of Terran to kind of defend with turrets. There's also like a lot of cliffed areas around the natural here that the mutas could try and abuse. Lots of areas to really poke in, maybe do some damage, pick off some units or some buildings here and there.
Maybe snipe a few SCVs.
Hey.
Hey, snipe.
Yeah.
Haha.
Could do that for sure. But meanwhile, let's see. Zerg is throwing down a couple of creep colonies. I don't know if that's necessary. Like, I don't know the rush distance on here, but it seems like it's fairly long. Like, you could throw those down and morph them into Sunkens before the Terran could get there if he was going for an early push. Like a 2-racks academy
I like
build.
it. I like it. It's safe. He doesn't have to turn them into Sunkens. I don't like how he's positioned them close to the ramp. Like, it'd be better like just central there, because I mean, if something happens and Marines run on the side there, the Sunkens aren't helping at all.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of having the Sunks there. It's safe.
Okay.
And if he's not going for a Ling heavy play, then you kind of have to do it.
Yeah. So he did morph him into Sunkens now. I think that might be a little bit early. He could just have a Ling out here to see if the Terran's moving across, and they would finish in plenty of time, so that minerals he spent making those Sunkens could have been spent somewhere else to get maybe a couple more mutas out a little bit quicker. But as it is, we do have, it looks like 8 mutas coming across the map now from George. We'll have to see what he can get done with these.
Yeah, so the turret timing is a bit late on the nat. This is the hard part for Terran, where things start getting a little bit busier. So keeping up with your supply depots, your SCVs, Marines, all that production, your tech timing, so your factory probably wants to go down about now. All that stuff while the mutas are harassing you.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of practice comes into play.
So we do see no turrets down here. The mutas are actually going to be able to find a lot of damage here. It looks like just murdering a ton of SCVs here in the main base.
Yeah, the damage is already a lot. Like, he's had to run his SCVs. He's lost so many SCVs. And he's out on the map. He's got to come back. Yeah.
He's pulling a bunch of his Marines back, but he doesn't have any medics with this, and he's continuing to stim, so these Marines are actually going to be pretty weakened. Some of them are already on 10 health here. So
yeah, the bright side, he's got 7 mutas. I don't know what happened to his turret timing, because I don't know if he thought it was something else, because he made 0 turrets.
Yeah. So
0 turrets, no factory, so like he couldn't have thought of his lurker. I think it was just late on the turrets.
Yeah, so that's definitely something really important to watch out for as the Terran. Make sure you're getting those turrets down on time for the mutas so they can't get in and do a lot of damage like this. Have your Marines back to intercept them, maybe pick some off. Looks like he's going to move back in here with the Mutalisks. Finding another SCV, that's nice. Continue to harass. There is one turret here now, but yeah, the Zerg should be able to just dive on top of this and take that out.
Yeah, so this is the multitask struggle here. It's still somewhat even. The third from the Zerg is a bit late. The Hive still hasn't started. So it's still an even game, I would say.
Yeah, I think if Terran could get rid of these mutas, kind of secure his base here, continue to make some SCVs. I'd like to see him making some out of the natural as well. But yeah, pumping those SCVs, that's good, and maybe put on some counter pressure to the third. But we do see George
Yeah.
is getting up some of his lurkers now, and that's going to help him defend against any just straight up bioforce.
Yeah, but I mean, with that said, like this is a massive bioforce. It'd be nice to have a few more medics, but that's like 3 groups already. And looking at the open third base, that could easily wipe out those 3 lurkers. That's the challenge with that 2 gas base, and you know, it's something that you get rewarded, but it's high risk.
Yeah, there is a little choke down here. I'm just trying to see how to can open it. Okay, there is a little choke down here that you could maybe put the lurkers behind. That would make it a lot harder for Marines and medics to get through and to the base.
Yeah, you could totally do stop lurker there.
Yeah, it would definitely
and if
funnel
there's no
in the
tech,
Marines and medics.
he'd have to be scanning ahead and kind of cognizant of that.
So just something to think about as the Zerg player, where you want to position those lurkers to try and slow the Terran down from doing anything. Mutas are coming back in now, picking off a couple Marines. Gonna get another.
Yeah, this is a good idea. I like bringing the Mutas back. I like that he's got some units on the map, some lurkers, some lings on the map, kind of in an aggressive position.
Yeah.
So overall, pretty good for Zerg. He's got his hive going. He's got his third going. But now Terran's moving out, so we have to see how this is handled.
Yeah, as you said, the hive is started. I would expect to see a Defiler Mound thrown down shortly after that. Big group of Marines and medics coming across. Maybe catching a couple of lurkers out here in the field.
Yeah, this is awesome for Terran. If you can get that and scan it.
Oh, losing. Oh.
Huge spine.
He still has a decent number left, but with the lurkers here and lings, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to break this third base for Zerg.
A little bit better micro there would have saved them about 5 Marines, maybe.
Oh, he's sending them all in a straight line. That's something you want to kind of avoid, especially versus lurkers. You want to send your units not in a straight line into lurker spines. Spread out would be good.
Well, what you want to do is you want to send them in a direct straight line so that the spine hits every single Marine, right?
So they all die.
Is that what? I got it wrong. Yeah, so Zerg's definitely ahead now. There's no tech for. Yeah, it's just now the factory's going down. This is something that Terrans have to do when they do 5-fact. Be very, very quick with your factory, man, because it just snowballs later on when your vessel count's low, and it's all because of that first factory that you failed to put down early enough.
Meanwhile, the Mutas are still harassing the main base here of Frivolus, killing a bunch more SCVs. He has almost no SCVs on his main mineral line. I like how George is being pretty active here with his Mutas, just continuing to poke in, forcing Terran to stay back, killing SCVs, whatever he can. He's looking actually pretty solid here.
Yeah, I think some macro hatches would be great right now. He's floating at almost 2k, so some macro hatches at the third. It's dark matter, it's not Python, but I can move back from the mic a bit, or you can lower me maybe just a bit if the mic's a little loud. I sound like Python, that's so cool.
You and Python sound similar?
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, Terran's in a pretty bad spot. Like as you can see, Zerg is ahead in supply. And usually when Zerg is ahead in supply in any matchup, that spells bad news for the other race. Not necessarily always the case, but in this case, yeah, Zerg is getting ahead. Terran is trying to take this third base here, which is good, but he doesn't really have the SCV saturation to kind of saturate all his bases. So I would like to see him continue to produce SCVs to try and get back into this game.
Yeah, that factory got denied a while ago and still not being up. So that's the critical thing in this game, I think. The turret timing and the factory. This is good to get the third. I like that he's still thinking ahead. It's still defendable. Like Consume just finished.
Yeah.
But it's tough without vessels, that's for sure.
Yeah. The Marines are upgraded with +1 attack, while Zerg is still on 0-0, but Zerg does have the carapace and attack upgrades on the way. He's actually a little low on drones in his main as well. He's only got about
a big
4
attack
drones.
on the Nat here. Oh, that was a big attack.
Oh, he's
Still
losing
3
a
lurkers
bunch
left.
of Marines. Oh no. Oh
Nice.
no.
This has been so successful for George. It's a good move. And he's attacking the third with the Mutas. GG.
And Frivolus calls GG.
Nice.
Pretty nice
Great
game
game.
1. Yeah, looking like a decent tier 3 player there from George. Definitely.
Tier 3 power. Tier 3 power. That's
Yeah.
both of them played pretty well. There's like obvious things that will just get them to the next step real quick.
Yeah, like you said, a few more macro hatches for the Zerg. For the Terran, I'd say, get those turrets on time. That would have helped a lot. Like, he took a lot of damage from those first mutas and really couldn't recover from that.
The damage.
No.
I'm just picturing that cutscene with the Marine and the fire bat in the trench. So epic. I just like the Marines trying to cover their heads from the muta, like glaives or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
That would really suck, man.
I think my favorite cutscene from the campaign would be like one of the first ones. It might even be the first one where with Terran and Zerg, he's like, "Hey Lester, that's a Zerglin." The guy hits the Zerglin with his truck. Oh man, that one's always good.
Small type of Zerg.
You don't usually see them out this way unless then it like pans to a bunch of Hydras. It's like,
oh shit.
All right. So moving on to game number 2 here, we are Circuit Breakers. This would be Frivolus's pick, a much more standard map. A map I'm sure he's more comfortable on than Polaris Rhapsody, so we'll have to see how this game goes for him.
Yeah, this is it's gonna be an obvious choice for a lot of people. CB or Fighting Spirit as the second map, so you expect to see that a lot. That's one of the reasons you put it in here is it's standard, it's macro, it's very balanced. So
Yeah.
they're great maps.
Yeah, exactly, and they're just even to practice on, like you said, to practice your standard play or your macro. CB, Fighting Spirit, the maps to go to, right? The other maps have a little bit more things that may have to change your strategy a bit, like play a little more defensive or play a little more cautious in certain areas, make sure you're watching certain locations. And it's good to have those too, because some of those maps are in the pool, or in case you run into other maps, like playing in tourneys later on, kind of learn how to play those different styles, different kinds of maps.
Yeah, and they also offer like the ramped third bases, which kind of makes certain things macro styles easier. And they offer the close fourth base too, from the down ramp of the third. So all those features kind of make it easy to practice macro games if you want to.
For sure.
It's a little bit more challenging on non-standard maps like Aztec, 3-player maps, or 2-player maps even.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so spawning here in the bottom left, down a game, is our teal Terran Frivolus.
Frivolus.
Can he bring it back?
And on the the bottom right, oh, you confused me because I did Frivolus last time. That's my guy. I'm Terran.
Sorry,
That's my boy, man.
Sorry, man.
You can't do that.
I was on him. I was over him.
I'm just joking.
I was on the left side of the map.
He could be your guy today, this game. Bottom right is George, the Zerg, who played really solid last game. So we'll see what he's got this game. He played standard 3-hat muta. Let's see if he'll do it again.
Yeah, so he is throwing down that 12 hatch. Standard opening in this matchup for sure. You want to get that economy rolling, be able to get that second gas, and those extra mineral patches. Meanwhile, Terran just going for that barracks. See if he goes for the early command center again. I imagine we'll see that.
Yeah, in 9 pool, at least in my experience, I'm actually not great at defending like the ramp micro, but 9 pool on this is not bad because the ramp's even a little bit wider, so it's more challenging for newbie Terrans like myself. So that's not a bad choice to go as well if you decided to do that, but he decided to go standard 12. And yeah,
perfectly fine. Zerg's gonna get a drone in here and kind of harass a bit, just see what's going on. Oh, getting maybe a couple hits off on this Marine.
Uh-oh.
Is he gonna lose it? Oh, okay, the drone looks like he's just gonna get out.
Man, if the drone killed the Marine, that would be like insane, man.
I mean, he did some damage to it. He killed half the Marine almost.
I'd be losing it.
Oh, Terran feeling a bit uncomfortable here, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't double scout here, so he doesn't know what's going on, and now he's wasting mining time because of that. I like the double scout on 4-player maps.
Yeah, I do that as well in PvZ, like, because Zerg can do those aggressive builds. If I don't find him on 4-player maps with my first probe scout, then I'll send a second probe out, and just to go check, because like you don't want to just die to all of a sudden a bunch of lings coming to your base. But you don't want to overcommit either. Like, like we see Frivolus doing here and pulling a bunch of SCVs, because that's just costing you extra mining time. George
Yeah,
with
it's too bad.
George with a little bit of a drone block here at his own ramp to deny that SCV from getting in. Not that there's much for the Terran to see at this time. It's the third hatch going down. He's playing completely standard here. But it always makes the Terran a little uncomfortable if he doesn't know what's going on. It's like, oh, is he massing up a bunch of lings behind this? Is it maybe just a 2-hatch build? Like he's a little unsure, right?
Yeah, I love that. I agree with that. It takes a lot of uncertainty, or adds uncertainty to the Terran players' gameplay. Because there's options for Zerg. You know, you can be doing 2-hat. It's a much different response. In this case, I don't think that's changed what Frivolus is doing. He's going for the same build as the first game, which is +1, 5 racks most likely, and George is doing the 3-hat muta most likely, unless he decides to do the den shortly here.
Yeah, still don't see any dens, so unless he's about to make it, I imagine we are going to see that muta play. And I mean, I like it. It's a standard way to play. It worked out pretty well for him last game. Like, he got a lot of damage done with it, so why change it up if it's going to work, right?
Yeah. Let's hope Frivolus gets the turrets on time, man. That would help a lot. He held on for a long time even without him, so it'd be interesting to see how the game evolves with that kind of response.
Don't know if you noticed there, Frivolus blocked actually his command center from landing a little bit. So yeah, on this map specifically, you have these little dots or knobs on the ground that kind of show you where the command center Nexus hatchery should be placed. So just make sure you're watching that and don't place any buildings in there if you're going to do this. It's a little thing to note.
Yeah, that's hard to do. Sometimes you can block, like if you're trying to build the bunker ahead of time, and even this bunker, he's blocked the scan add-on, so that's kind of unfortunate. After enough times of screwing yourself over, you learn. So I think you'll learn.
Unless you're dark matter and you still misplace CCs.
That's pretty mean.
Oh, nah. Hey, you still win. I can't talk too much shit about it. So he actually does notice that and kills the bunkers. So
yo, shout out to Nyokin. Great cast today. That was a freaking awesome tournament. Also Shantu.
Oh yeah.
Great games, man.
For sure. Have at you, always good times.
Yeah, and Sham actually released the reps already, so go to Terran Strategy. You can find them there.
Very nice. I actually didn't catch any of the games. I was busy handling all the CPL admin stuff for this morning, but I do enjoy tuning into those.
DeWalt versus BL especially.
Okay.
Freaking sweet.
All right, for sure. I'll check those out later. But for now, it looks like the Zerg did go for that Spire and is getting out his Mutalisks. It looks like he does have 9 coming on the way. So very nice timings there from George. Looking pretty solid.
For those joining us, this is Tier 3. Or is it Tier 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Tier 3 TVZ preseason. So week 2.
Yeah, first.
And this just helps with, what's this help with?
So this coaches can watch, tune in, see what the players are, getting them ready for the draft. The draft has already started in a sense. Coaches are starting to pick up players that they want, or coming up with lists of the players. We're hoping that by the end of the preseason next week on the 30th, we will have all of that completed.
Muta coming in.
Yeah, and so this time Frivolus did have the turret, but he only had 1, and his Marines weren't really in position. Oh, but he does pick off a couple of Mutalisks here.
Yeah, good attempt with the Muta micro. You know, you got to practice in real games, and I like to see that attempt to dodge in and out, get a feel for it. The turrets were on time this time. I don't love their positioning, but they're good enough, and the Marines were able to come and support defensively on time.
Where would you rather see the turrets?
Just a little bit on the. Well, it's not terrible, but I like them more on the outside, close to the gas on the right side there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a wall of turrets that they have to fly over. And you can have your Marines positioned close to them so that they're kind of getting attacked on the outside of your base rather than being on the inside.
I gotcha, yeah. Okay. So looks like George is going for that 3rd hatchery, and Terran sent off a scan. I don't know if he saw. Okay, he he actually missed with his scan and didn't quite see the hatchery going up. It was just a little too far down to the left, so he doesn't see this hatchery morphing. But there are hydras moving across the map with Lurker. I don't know if Lurker is done. I imagine it must be. Either that or he hasn't started it yet, which case it may be a bit late, but Terran doesn't look like he's getting ready to move out anytime soon here.
Yeah. And I'd like to see the armor upgrade going here too. He didn't do it last game. And I think with 5 racks, you're using bio enough that you get the benefit from it. I'm not really sure. I think if you're going like ultra fast mech switch for some reason, you might not want it. But typically it's a pretty good idea.
Well,
and you just get it like right after.
Yeah,
right
okay.
after +1 is done.
Okay, yeah. Terran is on that +1/+0. Looks like Zerg is morphing a bunch of lurkers here and getting up to that hive. Just starting that now. Imagine we'll see some Defiler play coming out again here.
Yeah, so I think this is a much cleaner game from Frivolus. So, like, his factory is quite late, about 2 minutes late. This is something that definitely needs to get fixed, because it hurts everything. It hurts the science vessel timing and even mech switch and anything that you want to do with tech.
Oh, those lurker spines are painful. Oh, losing so much bio to these lurkers. Oh no.
That's a massacre.
That really hurts. So that really reset his Marines there. He does have like a group standing in the bottom of his base, kind of waiting for those mutas. And if Lurker can get under this ramp, it's going to be really tough for Terran to push down.
No.
Oh,
this is awful.
He really needed a couple of bunkers out here, at least one and a couple of turrets to kind of detect these lurkers. He's just taking so much damage from this now.
Yeah. Yeah, he let him set up there and he didn't get a split or nothing. Like that was so ideal for George.
Oh no, so just as we were saying, like Frivolus was looking a lot better. He's now taking a lot of damage. Frivolus moving in with the mutas as well, trying to find some damage. There is a lot of turrets here, so he's gonna have to retreat them. Meanwhile, the Marines are just dying here to the Lings. Lings continue to pick off SCVs, and I don't know if Frivolus is gonna be able to recover from this. Man.
Yeah, this is Sauron Zerg now, just streaming him in. The Lurker's got the bottom of the ramp there, now he's moving him up. This all could have prevented if he was on the map, you know.
Yeah. So.
And a little bit more aware of what's going on outside of his bridge.
Oh, and there's the GG.
Oof. That was rough.
That was pretty unfortunate. So yeah, like you were saying, if he had the bio out on the map, the lurkers couldn't have come up to him, or if he had a bunker and a turret or something there to help defend against the lurkers. Because once the lurkers get to your choke or on top of Terran production, it's just so hard to get those units out, so hard to build up enough army to hold it back and stop the Zerg. And when the Zerg gets in that position, they can just keep sending units and just throwing them at you. And eventually they're just going to overrun you like we saw here.
Yeah, so I think Frivolus just has to be more active on the map once he feels safe to move out, and you know, use the reinforcements from your 5 racks to defend it, the muted backstab, and also that factory timing needs to happen like fast, like before 8 minutes.
All right, so yeah, a few things for the Terran to take away. The Zerg was looking pretty strong again. Potentially someone that could move up to tier 2.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
games, man.